Hello and welcome to Spain and the beautiful town of La Cerdagel for the second ICF Canoe Slalom World Cup of the 2016 season. It's finals time, and today we have two finals to look forward to in the next few minutes. The first is going to be the K1 women. We saw 30 athletes fighting it out earlier today, and unfortunately 20 had to go home. Well, not exactly. 18 went home and 2 are sitting with me here today. So Luca Jones, Fiona Penny, sorry about your runs, but thank you so much for agreeing to come in. It's going to be a lot of fun out there. And secondly, we're going to look forward to the C2. That's the men's event. We're going to have another dream team of commentators on that one. But initially, girls, what's your reactions? What are your thoughts on the water? Is the conditions fair?
It's a really good day today, not too hot and no breeze at all, so perfect for racing.
So what happened with you?
Unfortunately for me, I hit the last upstream gate, second last upstream gate, and that was enough to put me out of the final.
And quickly, Luca, what happened to you?
I was just a bit offline the whole way down and losing time everywhere.
Okay, that's the negatives covered. Everything else is going to be positives for the day. I like to get the naughty bits out first of all. As you can see, the course is 4, 7, 12, 13, 19, 20 are the upstream gates. It's quite a long course. It's 300 meters long. It's narrow, it's shallow, it's very tricky. Yesterday we watched 120 athletes come down, and we've seen the semi-finals this morning, so there are certain patterns being established of which sections are difficult and which sections are not. We might get cut off in a minute with the actual starting list, and here we go. This is actually the World Cup standings. What this means is they are the first 10 from Ivrea last week. There are going to be 5 World Cups in the 26th season, and this is the way the points are distributed, so we'll be watching that closely throughout the other events, and hopefully we'll have a graphic in a minute of the starting list. They're going in the reverse order of the times they put down in the first semi-final, and we saw Ricardo Funk, Jessica Fox, Myron Shuro put down extraordinary runs, and we also saw the others very happy to be in the final. That's the way I see it. How do you see it?
Yeah, I mean, there are some top boats in that final. It's going to be really exciting. Obviously, the standout runs were Ricardo Funk and Jessica Fox, blistering times, and Mai Allen to her home course. So there's anything to play for out there.
Melanie Pfeiffer, you can see her stats. She goes for Germany.
It'll be interesting to see what she does here at gate 3. She's doing the spin option. The paddles really have had the choice to go forwards there or spinning. The kayak men yesterday were mostly going forwards.
Yeah, between a good forwards and a good spin. So the direct was definitely more risky.
And Millie choosing to do what was the natural forwards there on gate 6 to 7, but she seemed to get a bit tied up in the eddy line, so a bit slow over to 7.
The tricky thing about Sao is it looks small in terms of volume, but it's actually really tricky out there, and you've just got to keep your boat moving, got to get good timing over those holes. This was a particularly difficult move. You've kind of got to get in quite tight to that upstream, or it's really costly, and she's coming low right now, so yeah, there's a bit of time slipping away there.
Yeah, she lost time there actually a little bit in the semi-final run as well, in exactly the same way, so it's not so good to have that happen again in the final.
And I think that was quite a key move for the K1 men. If you got in tight there, then you know you're right up at the top.
So there's an hour and a half between coming off the water in the semi-final and final. I saw the C2 men busy in the restaurant doing video analysis. I guess she's done the same.
Yeah, so she will have reviewed her runs and seen where she lost time compared with the faster paddlers and where she can make it up. She's probably got the same plan as her first run with a few tweaks.
Well, 1:100 was the winning time in the semi-final, so she's going to be a little bit down there with the lack of stress. Maybe it might be different time here, but she's 5 seconds off semi-final pace, and the face said it all. There was no joy there.
No, I think she had a few time losses there, and I wouldn't say that time is super competitive, but we'll have to wait and see. It's a tricky course.
So first of 10 to go, and we saw a huge smile from this young lady, Anna Sotelo, when she realised she was actually going to make the final.
Yeah, she had a touch taken off. Obviously, they must put in a protest, and she went from, I think it was 16th or 17th up to being in the final. So good to see her there.
When you're in that sort of situation, is it a very big mental push? Nothing to lose, go for it.
I wouldn't say it's anything different if you had made it in the normal sort of way. You just you keep with your plan, and maybe some tweaks from watching others and watching a video of your own run, but keep with it.
And it's really exciting watching Anna race. She's had a great start to the season, paddled really well in Abrea. She was in the final there, and she's so young as well, so it's going to be exciting watching her this season.
Massive experience. She obviously was at 16 years old, one of the youngest competitors to go to London Games, and all the, they call her the Queen in Brazil, because she's the only top lady there, and all the pressure and tension is going to be on her for Brazil Games.
Yeah, she's definitely one to watch for the Rio Olympics, and yeah, I mean, it's great for Brazil to have a canoe slalom paddler right at the top, and their whole team actually is doing really well.
There's 6 paddlers in this ladies' final who will be racing in Rio, so it's good to see what the standard will be like.
She's come a bit low into gate 13, but kind of carries the speed around well. She looks to be on a pretty good run so far.
And Fiona, with the time you've been spending in Rio recently, you could also almost be a resident.
Yeah, we've been spending quite a lot of time there for sure. We definitely know how things run in the country for sure.
Well, we saw her slightly down on the split, but she's the second of 10 athletes to go in the K1 women's final.
Quite quick around there, and if she can just hold the height there in the upstream, she's quick around here. We'll see. That's pretty good. Needs to keep off the poles in these last 2 gates. It's very easy to just sort of get on with the run to the finish line, but you have to keep thinking about those poles.
Well, again, unfortunately, it's not electrifying, and moves into second rank out of 2 athletes, and the CVs of the ladies who are coming after are quite consequential, so it looks like she's not going to trouble the winners.
Yeah, I think we'll see some good times going down, certainly with Ricky and Jess. They both had really good semi-final runs, really quick between the gates, so I think we'll be expecting something from them in the final.
And next to go for Slovenia, I believe it's not the Olympic bait, but Iva Turchel has run here before, and she's sorry, I'm looking at my notes wrong. It's Jana Dukateva, who again is going to Rio for Slovakia, known for her amazing style.
Yeah, she's got such a smooth style on the water, really long arms, long strokes, very efficient on the water, so she's had a lot of years of paddling in Sao, so she's definitely one to watch for those top 3 spots.
Very smooth around gate 4 there. That was very cleanly done. See how she goes across this cross into the upstream.
Nice and tight.
This big wave here. It depends. Sometimes smoothly through. There's a wave there that kind of comes and goes, and sometimes you get a big hit from it, and sometimes you get away with it.
Well, she's nearly 2 seconds up.
She's looking very smooth. She'll be wanting to get a good cross between these 2 upstreams, where a lot of time is.
Yeah, the key is to get a bit of height out of this upstream and then hold on to it, and not hold on to it that much. She's getting held a little bit, just to hold the height all the way, like past the upstream on gate 13, really, to then get a good whip away. Need to get a little bit of speed up here before 15 to jump into the eddy there. That was well done.
Now coming into this bottom move.
She's still up a little bit at the moment, so
there's a bit of time in getting this move really well, nailing these double ups. She's opted to go for a wall punt, which has given her some good speed out. She's looking really nice.
Well, again, it's not really comparable with the top times of the semi-finals, but she really just needs to try and establish an early lead. Oh no, it moves into second place.
Yeah, they're really close between the paddlers that have come down so far. They all seem to come a little bit unstuck there at the bridge section.
It really does give you an appreciation of just how fast Ricarda Funk and Jessica Fox were in the semi-final.
Yeah, I had a little look at the video after the runs there of Ricky and a little bit of Jess, and it was just about keeping the boat moving, really. They didn't do anything particularly special, they just kept it flowing.
Yeah, the boat was on top of the water and in a good place the whole way down.
Well, here she is, Iva Turchel from Slovenia, and she has won here before. And obviously used to the big drops and the big water.
Yeah, I mean, her home course in Tarsen is one of the biggest courses. It's got a huge drop at the start. She's opted to go for the forwards move.
It's come off well.
Yeah.
Key there to come up the wave to gate 4 then, and she seems to have done it well.
Very similar time between the three first paddlers.
Good cross into the upstream and a little bit low, but she can keep it moving and not get, there it goes, a little bit of a hit, but not too bad.
Through the stagger section, just focusing on and it being middle of the gates, keeping the boat moving.
But look, interesting, the time is 1.6 seconds up. Comes under the bridge, so the shadow is.
She's coming very tight. I could see that there. She was just a little bit close to the rock, and she was pointing quite towards the upstream already before she even started, so she was going for the tight line, and again getting a bit held going into 13.
Yeah, bit of time there, and actually is that the first touch of the race so far? Seen a lot of clean runs.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, it's quite key on, relatively this course is, quite straightforward compared to some that we've seen on Liceo in the past, and being clean today is definitely the key. It's just now going to paddle out the rest of the run, try and limit the mistakes to try and keep a good bottom section.
But with 4 penalties, it's going to be difficult, isn't it?
No, yeah. Can't really afford to have 4 seconds of penalties on a run like this.
No, unfortunately, even with the pure time, she's not her day. So they're coming on thickly and fastly, and Melanie Pfeiffer's still holding on to it.
Yeah, I'm surprised about that. I guess based on the fastest runs in the semi-final, you'd think that higher times would be holding the lead, but yeah, she's looking solid at the moment. It does indicate how tricky this course is and how you can lose little pieces of time, and especially that move under the bridge. It is really difficult. It's quite physical, you're halfway down the run.
Violetta Oblinger-Peters has put the disappointment behind her. Hopefully she's done well to make it to the final. 38 years young from Austria.
I heard she did a really great job of the forwards move in her semi-final run here. So it'll be interesting if she does it again.
Oh, she's done it, but she's falling off. She's going to have to work really hard to get back up to 4.
Yeah, it looked like she just tried to cut the line a bit too much there. And she'll be looking to try and get back into the rhythm of her run, get back on line, see where she can pull back some time.
Yeah, she'll just be, because that's quite an early mistake there, refocusing for the rest of the run. Anything can happen in the women's race, and then if she manages to refocus.
But look at the time, crucially. She lost a couple of seconds, so she must be very fast.
She's not too far down.
Yeah, she's a very, very buoyant paddler, as I would call her. Just manages to keep the boat running, skipping over the waves. Very like Maya-Len, in fact, who we'll see coming up later on. But she's fallen low there. She went high and also lost a little bit of an edge. Has to go around the back.
It is interesting when you lose a little bit of time out there on the course. You've just got to stick to your guns and not try and cut too many lines to make up the time.
Oh, and there she
looks like she's doing a bit of that.
Cutting the lines for sure. It'll be interesting to see what the judges there. If you don't get your full head in the gate and your boat is outside the gate, it's judged to be and there she's gone completely. Yeah, it's judged to be a 50, and obviously there we see on gate 18 that she's 17, 18. She's gone pretty past it.
Saw that run fall apart a little bit at the end.
Well, half of the athletes have gone already. We're just left with local knowledge, world champion, Olympic medalist, and last week's winner.
Yeah, quite
Pretty
some names
strong.
to come.
Top half of the field. It will be a really exciting final to watch. See if anyone's going to push Melanie Pfeiffer out of that top spot.
It was just a little bit too right in the gate there, coming down the drop, and got a bit bounced off by the left-hand V, as I would call it, coming down the drop, pushed off the gate line.
And she knows it. Well, here we go. Should have a little bit of noise. There's a good crowd because we're quite close to the centre of this village town. And it is Marta Martinez, who again, she's not the biggest athlete, is she?
No, she's a tiny little Spaniard, but she keeps her boat running. She's light and free on the water, and she did a really fast time yesterday in the second runs of qualification. Sorry, on Friday.
Yeah, all the Spanish girls are quite small, but they keep that boat moving and very light, as you said.
And these girls just know this course so well, train here every day. And I don't think it's changed too much since the Barcelona Olympics.
No, there's a couple of little changes, but yeah, very few. They know where the water will help them and where they should keep the boat going with the water.
I was speaking to Pier Paolo Ferrazzi and Sylvia Cunha, who are the silver and gold medal winners from the Olympics in 92 in the K1. They're saying the main change is the trees have grown a lot.
Oh yeah, of course.
Yeah, of course there'll be that.
Well, there's a couple of big rocks in the bottom have gone apparently, but apart from that, it's very similar.
She was very deep around the back of that gate, but seems to have got a good run across the back of the stopper and the bridge.
Probably the best
Oh,
one
there's
we've
a hit.
seen
There's
so
a hit.
far in that up, but yeah, costly touch.
Yeah, that was a silly touch there. Obviously, just was thinking ahead a bit too soon and clipped it with her paddle.
Well, did she? Because nothing's gone on. What, 2.58? I thought I saw something, but perhaps not.
It's, well, as I thought, I think she hit it with her paddle, but we'll see what the judges have to say about it. She'll be needing the local support now here at the bottom of the course, very tightly in. And if she can keep this tight in and out.
Nice tight exit as well.
Another, at least 20 metres to go, and this is the one they all hate. Another 10 paddle strokes when they're tired.
It's a very tiring finish sprint.
It's such a long sprint to the finish.
The touch has gone on now.
Yeah. Well, that was just as I said.
So Melly holding on to the lead. So quite often she does that. She'll put in quite an average run that's just enough, but actually in a final it's quite often good enough for a medal.
Katerina Kudjova, another one of your 6 who's going to Rio, and the existing reigning world champion.
Yeah, she had a great run in London. Very experienced paddler, in the same group as Yuri Priskovic, who won the European Championships.
Who's not here today. That's why we didn't have any excitement. Well, we had Britt Pindus, I suppose, who won the K1,
Yeah.
which is good.
He had a great day yesterday.
He won the slalom course, it's now called as well, isn't
Yeah.
it? So that's good fun. Check out all these things on YouTube. By the way, today this weekend is the first weekend ever we've gone live on Facebook as well. So YouTube, Facebook, check out @Planet Canoe if you want to follow the athletes, and obviously all the athletes have their own personal sites as well, which you can look up. Today I'm joined by Luca Jones and Fiona Penny, who have their own journeys on their way to Rio to talk about. So how's she going?
She's looking good so far on a solid run. The boat's moving. She's been tight around the poles and got a really good upstream.
On the semi-final, when I was watching on the start, she seemed to go off like a steam train, so it looked a little bit.
Well, 2.4 seconds up, which is what we want to see, because again we'll from these semi-finals.
In the semi as well, she was cutting a lot of the upstreams very tightly, and we can see that again there on 12 and 13, both very tight.
She's got a really good cross actually, so she will have made up some time there compared with the other girls. And we'll see what she can do in the bottom section.
Well, look at that, 3 seconds up now.
She's on a very good run, so.
She chosen these 2 upstreams in the semi-final to go very tightly, and again going for the punt off the wall gives her a good bit of speed into here, which she swept this on the semi-final, but she's coming stuck there.
That could be an expensive second and a half.
Yeah, I think if she can keep this running to the finish, she
She's
might
still got some
still
time in the
have a
bag.
chance. She'll really be trying to get it down now. It's going to be close.
She's done it.
Well, moves into the first place, but will that be enough? Will the second and a half that she lost on Upgate 20 cost her dearly? 3 athletes to go, and not being rude to anyone else, but there's very few athletes more exciting than these 2 on the circuit.
Yeah, these 3 athletes that are about to come down are really exciting. They're achieving top results. Just so nice to watch on the water.
Yeah, Maya on the bridge section, gate 13, she was really low in the semi-final around that gate, and you would have thought that would have cost a lot of time, but still she came in third. So it'll be exciting to see what she does now.
Well, Mylan Shuro, I think at one point she was about 4 or 5 seconds up on the split until things started to wobble a little bit. But look at her, you can see her results there. She is a top performer, and this is her course.
Yeah, she knows this course really well, and always seems to perform very well when they have a World Cup here.
Usually a few seconds ahead of everyone else, so be really exciting to see if she can pull it together on this final run. She's got the support of the home crowd. Yeah, just absolutely nailed that section.
She's certainly going for it. I did a training session actually with her in the last Rio training camp, and I was thoroughly put down by that one.
I saw you on your Twitter.
You were showing off your bigger muscles, weren't you?
Oh, that's the only thing I could win on.
You won the gun show.
And she's making the boat float very well. Look at that, 2.92 up already.
And that's what you want here to go fast. You just want the boat to be running on top of the water, taking the time to keep the boat dry over the drops. And she's done a great job of this cross. So obviously in video review, she's seen what she needs to improve on.
She just seems to keep the boat going. Like, I think she's a Duracell bunny between some of the gates there. It doesn't seem to stop.
Well, look now, she's now 4.5 seconds up.
This is looking like an amazing run.
It was a couple of years ago when she messed up on the last couple of gates, so we just need to make sure she doesn't think about the gold yet and really shows us what can be achieved.
Just got held up a little bit. I mean, very like fractions outside that gate there. But
could we see the first time under 100 today?
Looking like it. Oh, this is going to be an incredible time.
7, 8, and it's under 100.
Wow.
5.24 seconds, and she's done it. Yes, it's me. Well done.
That is an extremely fast time.
It's going to be really hard to beat, actually. That.
It'll be interesting to see if the other girls have heard the time that Mylan's put down, or whether they're just in the zone.
Yeah, I mean, you know, you can hear some parts of the commentary here on the start line, and it depends whether they'll have actually heard the detail of what that time was.
She's mostly aware of what's going on. It's like I was planning on doing 102, but now I have to do a 94.
And she's got the skills to deal with it. She's a seasoned racer. She knows how to perform.
Jess Fox from Australia, ICF ranking #1. And let's see how she goes today. Deliberately missed out on the C1 yesterday to concentrate on this.
Well, it's her birthday yesterday, and she's still so young. Lots of time ahead of her, but very experienced now in the circuit.
She's gone for the direct move at the top as well, as she did in the semi-final run, and it looked to be pretty good. Jess is a great ambassador for the sport. You know, a lot of the younger girls really look up to her. She's a great paddler.
She got in and out of there very well in the sweep and managed to avoid that horrible wave.
So let's see where she's on the split. Well, 3 seconds, but not as electrifying as Mylan.
Just shows how fast Mylan was on that top section, because Jess is looking like she's having a great run, but Mylan just stormed the top.
Yeah, the rate that Mylan was going at was quite incredible.
Well, it's not over yet.
She's definitely put some burners down there. Got very tight. Falling down. If you go a little bit too tight there, you know, you run out of your rhythm and you fall down onto the rock a little bit.
Well, 4.23 seconds back, but the second place at the moment is 5.2 seconds back, so she's still potentially in silver medal place.
She got a silver medal last weekend in Ivrea, so she'll be looking to make the podium again, and it's looking like a run that will put her on the podium.
Well,
one more gate to go.
The last. It's going to hurt. Have to make it hurt.
She just had to stall a little bit for that last gate to make sure she kept it clean.
And goes into. Well, she's made up 2 seconds in the last 5 gate, which is great. And difficult to read emotions, but she will be on the medal podium.
Another great 2 weekends in a row. She's paddling well.
I think with that run there, that she'll be pleased with the run in itself, and I think when you're against Mylan on her home course, you'd be quite happy with that.
Yeah,
we'll ask her. So, one athlete left to go, and we do know two of the medalists. Mylin Shuro put down a stomping run of 99.61, no penalties. Jess Fox has just put down another stonking run. Ricarda Funk won last week, arguably the top paddler in the last couple of years. Not going to the Olympics, so maybe that's extra motivation. Let's see how she goes today.
Yeah, Ricky unfortunately didn't even make the top 3 of the German team, so she didn't manage to race the European Championships, so trying to put down her mark here in the World Cup Series.
And she has already winning in a Freya. She's an incredible paddler to watch in the water. She just keeps her boat moving. Always seems to carry speed.
Yeah, when we did a head-to-head of her against me on after the cross and the bridge, she was between even gate 13 and 14. She had 0.9 of a second on me, so definitely keeps it going.
Well, still in touch here. We're for the silver medal.
Well, anything can happen, obviously. Like only 1.67, so we'll see how she fares in the bottom half.
Well, like you mentioned, her top half wasn't spectacular, but her bottom half was spectacular, but she's dropped a little bit low, I guess.
Yeah, but she's kept the boat running,
Yeah.
so she was only really a stroke down. There was no stalling on a reverse stroke, so
It's really easy to get stuck in that gate, but her boat did carry speed.
she just had to wait a little bit, for the gate there, having to keep it clean.
Well, 3 seconds up, so she's provisionally in second place. Ricarda Funk from Germany.
Very, very tight. She's now going to have to work very hard back up the
2
gate.
seconds has gone on.
She obviously clipped that with her chin there.
She's fighting for bronze medal now.
She'll be trying to get in and out of here tightly.
She has 5.24 seconds to play with for bronze medal.
She stalled a little bit coming out of that last upstream, just having to wait again for the pull around her
Well,
arm.
winner's already finished. Here she comes. It's second or third or fourth? Third. So first last week and third today. Jess was second last week and second today. And Mylin Shuro, who, if there were betting allowed on this sport, I think bets would have been stopped a long time ago, because she certainly knew what was going on. And that was I don't know, what superlative would you use? A spectacular, extraordinary, brilliant?
Yeah, all of those words. That was an incredible run, and I mean, it would have been extremely difficult for any of those other girls to beat that.
Yeah, I mean, she, like we said, kept the boat moving, kept it light, and that's what you need on a course like the South. So Ricky will be disappointed, obviously, to miss out on going to the Olympics this year with the form that she's now showing, but definitely laying it down in the World Cup Series.
Yeah, she's had a great start to the World Cup Series so far.
I suppose that's one of the problems of being German, isn't it?
Yeah, they've got a good group of paddlers. Obviously, there's quite a number of them that are always able to make the team, and it's exciting to watch their selection.
Well, here's the proof of what we've been talking about. Mylin Shuro wins by 2.12 seconds. It takes the gold medal for Spain. Jess Fox, silver for Australia, and Ricarda Funk takes the bronze medal for Germany. The boys are hovering. They want your seats. So what we'll do is we'll have a quick handover now. Luca James, Fiona Penny, thank you so much for coming in. I guess we'll see you next. So no, you're not going to Po, are you?
No, I won't be there. No, having 2 weeks at home.
So quickly, what's the name of your website?
FionaPenny.com.
And watch Fiona for her journey on the way to Rio. Luca, will you be there next week?
I will be racing next week.
What's your website?
It's lucajones.com.
Great stuff. Thank you both, and we'll see you soon. Well, we're just going to do a quick switch over now from two ladies that made the semi-final of the K1. Excellent insight here to two top C2 paddlers, just about to step up to the mark. Casey, if you leave Fiona alone and come and sit down, please. So we're coming to you live from La Gael in northern Spain. Weather conditions really good. It's a bit overcast, but there's actually no wind to speak of whatsoever. We've just seen the K1 women go down. In a couple of minutes we're going to see the C2 men. I'm Matthew Layton, and today we are joined by Casey Eichfeld, who's going to the Olympics for the third time in C1 and C2, I believe. Not that many people have done that before. And we have Adam Burgess, who is the under-23 world champion. So really good pedigree today. Hello.
Hi Matt, thanks for having us.
Hey, thank you.
So We've seen a spectacular run from Mylin. Good to watch, I guess.
Yeah, that was amazing. Absolutely incredible one. The Spanish can be quite dominant on here if they have their day. I think it'd be interesting to see if the C2 boys can repeat that as well.
Because they were early runners, weren't they? And they looked really good. Here's the World Cup standings now from the 2 events we've seen so far, so you can see it yourself. On top with a first and a third equals 2 seconds, and coming down, we have 5 events totally in the season. It might be not as pure as we'd like it to be, because a lot of athletes are deciding who are going to the Olympics to sit out on one of the events, but you're leading at the moment, so well done there. And we're going to move on hopefully in a minute to this is a course. We're in the bottom tent, you just missed then. This is going up the course. On the right is an excellent gym facility. There's a hydroelectric power station, and this course has not changed too much apart from the trees since 1992 when it hosted the Barcelona Olympic Games. So guys, you've been coming a few years. Is it all familiar territory?
I'd certainly say so. My first time here was the World Championships in 2009, so I've got a few years on the clock with this course. It's definitely fun. As I mentioned earlier today, it's it's not a big whitewater course, but it's so technical that it really requires all of your focus at all times. There's so many areas to lose time on this course that you've always got to be on top of your game throughout the entirety of it.
Racing always seems to be really tight here as well. I think everyone knows it really well because we come here most years, and everyone loves the whole venue and the town and how chilled it is, and I think it just leads to good performances all around. So
in your screen are the results from Ivrea, which I mean is the standings after the first World Cup. Siemenico and Cahill are leading so far. They're going to be 5 World Cups, so it's next week is Po, then we have a bit of a break for the Olympics, then we go to Prague, and in the end of September we're in Tachin in Slovenia. But these are the athletes who are going to be looking at today, and this is the reverse order of the times they had in the semi-finals. So the fastest were the locals from Spain, which wasn't surprising. They were one of the first to go, but they really put down a cracking run. Camperos, Ferrari, lucky perhaps to just sneak in the 10th position. And what we're going to do in the next half an hour or so is tell you all about them and show you what they're doing. So Casey, you were actually with me a little bit before on the semi-finals. Anything stood out there?
I just think that it's really incredible to see all these C2s stepping up their game. This is potentially our last Olympic cycle, and so everybody's really trying to make their mark with their last opportunity. The Italian boys are really putting out their game. Unfortunately, they won't be going to the Olympics, but it's really great to see them in the finals and still racing and loving it despite that.
But we must stress for the negative people, yes, it is a big change, but they're obviously still going to be in the World Championships and the World Cups.
Yes, we will just have to wait and see what everybody decides they want to do with their careers.
Well, let's see what's happening now.
Yeah, so far, so these boys are a back right crew, so we saw them take on the spin option at gate 3. I think that'll probably be the same for most of the back right crews in this final, and we might see some of the left backs going forwards there, but looks like they picked up an early touch there at gate 6.
Yeah, just a little bit offline there. We'll be hoping that they can keep their. Oh, also on gate 4 as well, it seems. So a little bit of trouble in the early part of the course. We'll see what their bottom looks like, but then it's going to be down to what everyone else does.
It's definitely opportunity on this really difficult bottom half to make up a little bit of time, but struggling to get the boat moving and find their rhythm, I think, so far. So they're going to really need a good bottom section now if they want to get on the podium today.
Nice little tail slide around that rock. Coming into the main drop. This I found to hold a lot of time down here in the bottom. Whoa, good little head duck there. Just a little bit tight on that rock, though. It's going to make him drop low into this up.
I thought they did really well then to manage to sneak around that down eddy, and unfortunate to slip and lose a bit more time dropping low into that upright. You've really got to be really aware as you're coming down that drop. Spot what the water's doing, because it can shift around a little bit, and if you are offline, it will punish you like that.
Well, first down. 108.83, I suppose, in their favour. They did make a final in a very competitive field.
Yeah, absolutely. And it looks like they've also, at least in terms of raw time, improved on their time. Keeping in mind they have 2 touches, so they have a raw 104, which was good, or would have been a good standing in the semifinals. So.
And the top time, I believe, was it 103?
I believe so.
103. Generally, in the C2, you can use the fastest curl woman as a bit of a marker. So we know that my Ellen's done a 99, which I think might be a little bit out of reach for the C2s, but let's see if anyone can challenge that.
Well, Schroeder and Bedgay, very experienced in C1 and fairly experienced in C2 together now.
Yeah, and they picked up their first championship medal as well over at the Europeans a few weeks ago in Liptovsky. It's good to see that. That was a really competitive race as well, so I'm sure they're going to be up for this final again today.
And Benzian and Franz Anton sitting this one out.
Yeah, it looks like a few of the guys who are going to be in Rio have chosen to sit this one, and Ivrea as well out. I guess to focus on their preparations for Rio and spend a bit of time at home. I know it's, especially for the British guys, I know those guys that their schedules have been really busy with being backwards and forwards to Rio.
First split and 5 seconds up.
Wow, that's a huge advantage, but I think that probably a big chunk of that is probably because of the penalties that Camporesi Ferrari picked up, but a second up, so that means they're on for around a 103 at the moment, which set the pace earlier, so this is a great run coming together so far.
Yep, nice and high into the second of the double ups.
It's a real key point of the course that it's very easy to lose a lot of time there, and you've really got to be focused as you come out that up left to get the line right. They've done a really good job.
Still maintaining a solid lead, 3.8 seconds despite that penalty. Oh, it looks like the penalty up top was removed.
Yeah, all clean on the board so far. And fast, 3.84 up on the Italian crew.
So this is the C2 final from Seo, and it is the second of 10 teams to go.
Sprinting now towards the finish. It's a long way from the last gate to the finish line, longer than I think we're used to.
That it is. Normally the gates extend just a little bit farther downstream.
But look at that, 5 seconds up and 1:03.76, one of the fastest times of the day.
That's a really good time. That I think that's going to be competitive. It'll be hard to beat, and they could find themselves on the podium there today.
I think we're going to see something pretty special if we see multiple boats throwing down times faster than that. So it's going to be really exciting.
You do sometimes get that in the C2 class.
Absolutely.
Everyone has watched the videos from the semis, and everyone knows the fastest options. And the quality, especially with it being the last time it's in the Olympic cycle, everyone is stepping up, and C2 finals are always ridiculously competitive and exciting.
Yeah,
I think we are in for a treat today.
Well, here we go. We saw them in the restaurant. I saw them in the restaurant about 20 minutes before the start of this competition. Quickly looking over the videos, it's Sasso Italia and Luka Božić, who are the 2014 world champions.
Yeah, I thought they snuck in a little bit into the final after the semis. I thought they maybe looked a bit faster than they actually were. So let's see if they can improve on their semi-final time.
Yeah, they are one of those interesting teams where it doesn't actually look sometimes like they're doing very much, but then the boat is still moving really well. The speed's continuing throughout the course, and
Luca in the front strikes me as very patient. He's really good at timing the really key strokes in the front there, and sometimes you see in the C2s the front man is more of an engine, and they're just working hard all the time. So they are a really interesting crew to watch, and they use the water very well. A bit of that probably comes from training on Tarsen, where it's so shifty, like side to side. But yeah, this looks like a good solid run coming together so far for these boys.
Yeah, nice and high into 13. Oh, little dodgy there on the exit.
Just managed to sneak out.
Good control over that edge though. Saw it go down, but they're already back up and moving. Nice little squiggle around the rock.
Oh, they've gained a 50.
Ooh. So without the 50, they're just up on the split, but yeah, that's catastrophic for them. That's them pretty much out of the race.
Yeah,
it can be reviewed, so let's see what's going to happen.
Yeah, I guess their team manager is going to want a second look at that and decide whether it's worth challenging the decision or not.
Yeah, absolutely.
So they'll be aware that there's a in the crowd.
Ooh. Yeah, I think they probably would have heard something in the crowd, but you've got to be at this level. They're experienced guys. They'll be used to shutting it out and refocusing quickly to focus on what's important coming up, which is often the gate that you're in that moment.
Well, even if they do have the 50 taken off, they'd still only be in first place.
Yep. Yeah, it was a good time. Good raw time.
they're just fractionally there. They're half a second up.
So we'll have to see what the video judge says.
It's the first Polish pair, the Brzezinskis.
Brzezinskis, yeah, these guys have been they've been on the circuit for quite a long time, despite their age. Really successful as juniors, like former junior world champions. Fairly sure they've medalled at under-23 world championships as well. And yeah, they've definitely been on the podium before at World Cup, so another one that can challenge for the podium today. And as we've seen so far, it's been tight. Let's see if they can keep this high level of C2 canoeing on.
Smooth so far. Nice little dive gate here, keeping the boat running well. Nice in and out of the up.
Let's see what this first split's looking like now. Definitely in touch, just a half second down.
Not too shabby. They've avoided the mysterious gate 9 penalty that a lot of paddlers seem to be accruing. Oh goodness!
And they're upside down.
Interesting. I sometimes forget that one of the paddlers in C2s will sometimes switch hands when they're rolling.
Yeah.
Because Devin and I have always adapted to one of us crossbow rolls.
Yeah.
But
yeah, bit of a nightmare for those boys in gate 12 there.
Wasn't too far away from where Etienne Stott hurt himself, I believe.
Yeah, it was on that
Right.
drop. Yeah, when he hit himself for the second time, that was.
Well,
Always scary in C2 when you fall in. You never quite know if you're going to come back up. Like, even it doesn't happen very often. You're generally quite stable, but when you do fall in, you've got to be together with the roll to flip. It's a lot of weight to flip back up. So they'll be happy to at least have kept their heads fairly dry for
nothing
for the
that's
finish.
snapped. But clearly, with that sort of situation, it does put you out of the game.
Yeah, I think they're going to be outside here.
Just a quick word: we do have David Florence and Richard Hounslow coming out. There is the reserve boat, which is Mark Proctor and Etienne Stott. They're not racing the World Cups. And just explaining what's going on.
Yeah, so it's a shame really for the rest of the team because they're good guys to have around for us. But yeah, they had a great performance at the Europeans, and although I think they'd have loved to do these races, those guys love racing and they love these venues. Etienne's wife is currently travelling the world, and he misses her and he wants to spend some time with her. And with the end of the C2, they're happy to keep training after these World Cups and fulfil their reserve duties for these boys for the games. But essentially, I guess, C2 is coming to an end for those boys.
Hounslow and Florence, lots of superlatives to them.
Ooh, very
They're
nice
harder
direct
working
there.
than David Florence in the front.
Yeah, definitely, and this is another crew that could definitely challenge for the top of the podium here, and hopefully in Rio as well for the British team.
Well, former world champions, silver medalists.
They haven't actually spent much time here this week in preparation. Dave's wife's given birth to their second child, so he actually arrived on the Wednesday. So I think they maybe got 45 minutes in the C2, and David the same in the C1, and he made the final in C1 as well. So he's having a great weekend so far, and so far so good on this run as well. Nice and clean, and that was a really good cross, but just couldn't quite control the bow there to go around that pole on 13, and it looks like a 2-second penalty, and yeah, it's gone on now. See how that reflects in their split.
Yeah, like we mentioned before, the bottom is very important to keep that speed running, so it's a good opportunity to overcome that penalty. Yep, despite the penalty, they're still a little bit up on the time.
So this is a really fast time coming together then if they're still up with the penalty.
Quick in and out there.
Because a couple of years ago, 4 years ago, they flipped over here. The bottom, they came down the Niagara and they caught the stern in the bottom.
Oh yeah.
Yep. And now these boys are going to turn on the engines, both of them.
This could be tight. Oh, and just outside.
Just.
Well,
With the penalty as well. That's so 101. That's a really fast time.
Yeah, very, very impressive.
Fastest time of the day by 2 seconds.
I often think when I watch those boys, they do paddle a lot like a single boat. They've got quite a unique style, I think. like David coming from the C1 and Rich in kayak, but it kind of just works, and they are capable of those lightning fast times like that. Just unfortunate for them today that they've clipped that pole on the drop.
Tia Leroux from France.
These boys will be really happy to have made this final this week. I know they were 11th place last week in Ivrea, and they were really disappointed to not be in the final.
It's very rare to only have one French team in the final.
Yeah, with the amount of high quality C2s they've got. Well, last week's winners, Skiamanko and Kaihol, I'm sure they'll be disappointed to miss out as well after winning last week. But yeah, so for Team France, let's see if Leroux and Pierre-Antoine Thiard can do this.
You know, that's one of the really interesting things about our sport, is because of the diversity between the venues and just kind of the general luck on that day. We see a lot of turnover on the podium. You know.
But look at that; they're almost 2 seconds up.
Oh
Nice.
wow! So this is,
they're moving very well.
Again, similar pace to where Dave and Rich were at. So this is going to be a really fast time coming together so far.
Let's see what the judges call that.
Yeah, a bit of movement on that pole. I'm not sure if they've made contact or if that was just the water splash hitting up, but so far there's nothing on the board for them.
Still moving quite well. I like the aggressiveness.
They're an interesting crew, these boys as well. They I don't think they spend much time together in the C2. They're both very good C1 paddlers. Pierre winning the Po World Cup final last year. So yeah, it's really interesting to see those boys get in C2 and throwing it down and mixing it up with the big names in C2 Canoe.
Yep. Last split showed about nearly 4 seconds up. A little stern trouble after the dive of Niagara, but losing very little time.
Really fast.
Yeah, these boys.
Could we see a sub 100 time?
Wow,
don't think it's
spectacular
impossible.
stuff
Here comes. Boom.
Look at that.
My
First
gosh.
team under 100
Wow.
and take the lead by 4 seconds.
Very
They've
impressive.
smashed it. They know it as well. They know that's a great run. They must be buzzing with that. That was really, really fast. Yeah, we said at the start that we might see that we often use the K1 women as a marker for how fast the C2s can go. And yeah, they've demonstrated it there. I thought 99 might have been a little bit out of reach, but they've proved me wrong for sure. And that was a very, very good run.
Very impressive.
I think they can put the disappointment from last week not making the final behind them now.
6 baits gone, 4 to go. It's the Scanter cousins who have been possibly the dominant team certainly a couple of years ago.
Yeah, this whole Olympic cycle they've won so many medals, and maybe it's slowed down a little bit over last season and coming into this season as well. But certainly a couple of years ago they were on the podium at near enough every time they raced. Yeah, just so in control and consistently really fast. Maybe for the bulk of their career they've spent a lot of time in the shadow of their countrymen, the Hoshona brothers, multiple Olympic champions, and now I believe it's their turn to shine at the Olympic Games this year in Rio. They've got their ticket, and I'm sure their main focus this year will be on that race.
So how are they doing so far? Well, they're 2.5 seconds up, but the last time was spectacular.
Yeah, the last time was really, really good, and so it's looking at the other times that have gone down so far, this isn't actually a bad run that's starting to come together.
Nope.
The gap at the moment is 4.73 seconds between first and second at the final split, at the final timing.
Fairly decent double up there.
On their onside for the down in the eddy on the last drop as well. I think that's probably where the French boys took a bit of their time on the top.
Oh, they've lost a little bit more time as well.
Yeah, they just look like they've not quite found their rhythm quite as well as the last crew managed. But it's a solid, clean run, and they could find themselves on their podium if they finish this off well now.
So far, the top 2 boats have gone clean.
Quick little stern slide there.
Third time at the moment is 103.84.
Just outside.
So 3 crews to go, but they're all fast.
Yeah, they are all fast. All 10 crews in this final, and probably a few of the guys that missed out are all incredibly fast here. Yeah, I think that 99 could hold. That is a really, really incredibly fast time, and I think that's going to be hard to beat. Maybe the locals, with a bit of inside knowledge,
they'll
could
be
challenge
aware
it.
of it now and they'll know what they have to do. So Karlovsky and Jane, again, really, really strong pairing from the Czech Republic.
Yeah, definitely. Consistent finalists, and these boys, they race hard. They really work hard on the run, and they give it their all. And I think they're going to put everything into this run again today.
Nice jump there. Opting for the spin, as expected from the righty stern. Little bit of trouble there.
Ooh, yeah, a little bit low in that upstream, but they've used the eddy well to get up and out.
Yep.
They might be a little bit down on the first split compared to the left back French crew that went straight on 4 to 5.
Nice upstream there. As expected, just a little behind, 2.6 seconds.
Yeah, it looks like the bulk of the advantage the French boys managed to get was on that top section, and I think it probably was on their forwards move.
Interesting. Second C2 we've seen to have a little bit of too much lean on that left edge. They saved it quite well though, kept the speed moving, good cross. Not terribly out of touch.
They're putting some power down now through there.
Yeah, absolutely.
They worked hard, a nice little pace change there before they... There's a little tricky sag around this rock. It's an easy place to lose time. It looks quite simple. It's actually, you've got to work hard to keep the boat moving though. On their onside now, and it's okay. It's okay through that down eddy, and that outside pole caught quite a few people out yesterday as well. It's with the river bending round to the left, it's almost like the upstream set at an angle where it's really hard to get your bow to come in at an angle where you're not going to hit that outside pole, and I think those penalties are going to push these boys down the order.
Oh, interesting. And it seems they've incurred a penalty up on gate 11 as well.
So into 5th place, and we do have our first medalist. Speculation might be that it could be an interesting colour. Taya Legrue will medal.
Those French boys.
So France won World Cup 1 in Ivrea, in a strong position to win this one, and then we're in their backyard next week in Po. So
daunting stuff.
Yeah, French dominance in C2 at the moment.
2 to go, Stepansky and Pokwala.
And we've not even seen their Olympic boat racing yet. They've chosen to sit this one out, Klaus Pesch. Another one going for the forwards move, and that does look very fast compared to some of the right backs who are having to spin.
Very nice, tight in and around that upstream pole.
Maybe we could see this crew get a little bit more in touch with the current lead on this first split.
A little
bit of trouble there, yeah.
Yeah, a little bit under the pole, a little unnecessary, causing them to lose a little bit of speed. You can see it carrying through that dive and into the upstream. Yep, 3.5 seconds
back.
back.
You can see it's reflected there on that split. Just a bit out of touch, struggling to get the boat moving and to give himself space, I think, to be able to pull properly.
Nice up left here.
Really nice left on the job there.
And stuck in the crossing.
It's really tricky going that way. The crossing, if it was into the upright and then the left first, the water kind of helps you. It goes in that direction, but going that other way, you're going against the flow, and you've got to be really precise, and you've got to have movement on your boat, you've got to have the right angle, and you can't rush out of the up left as well. So it's a tricky little cross, and it's another crew to have lost a bit of time there, and you can see that on the split now. They've
and even more trouble for them. A little bit edging issue, stuck in the eddy.
The third at the moment would be Florence and Hounslow, and that is 4 seconds back off the leaders, so 104.
Yeah, they've left the door a little bit open.
103.83, but they're not going to travel here. So we do know now 2 of the medalists, Schroeder and Bedke and Tia Larue have medals. Last to go are the locals. So that's going to be interesting to see if they can repeat and be inspired by Mylene Shore, who did a wonderful run a few minutes ago to win the K1 here.
99 yesterday in the swimming as well.
Yes. And she won by, was it 6 seconds?
Yeah, she absolutely smashed it. She was incredible yesterday. I think winning any race is pretty special, but to do it at home in front of a home crowd as well, it's got to be exciting. So
Marzo and Perez, the locals, can they put it down when it matters? Last to go in the C2 final from Lasserie 2016.
I think we'll see them take on this forwards option here as the back left. And yeah, they do, and that's good. That's a really good crossing there.
Clean, nice sweep right there, and they're out.
I think they look composed, and
a little bit of trouble, but good effort to get back on line there to avoid any penalties.
Yeah, really good recovery, and I don't think it actually cost you too much time going a little bit low in there. You can carry really good speed back up through and for the exit, and I think they're going to be close on this first split.
Yeah.
Yes,
not
look
far
at that,
back.
1.24 down.
Yeah, certainly the closest we've seen yet, and local knowledge now coming in on these main feature moves on the both of the big drops. That's a good
Very
up
nice
left there.
and the crossing.
Crossing
Oh,
looks
falling
good.
just
And
tiny bit low,
yeah.
but we'll see. They're still looking to have a good time here.
They've kept it moving, and the door's definitely open to at least get on the podium with a bit of a gap between first and third. But
well, the speaker next to us is certainly encouraging them to go 1.24. It's the same as before.
Identical, yeah.
Yeah, it's just that time on the top then, and he's still definitely in touch. It could definitely be won and lost now here. Two very big
a little bit of
upstreams
time
to go.
here. Got held on that water, sliding downstream just a little bit too long, but
I think Jesus in the back there did really well to punt him up and out through that gate without too much trouble. And here they are sprinting to the finish now. I think they're probably going to get on the podium here.
oh, get out of that eddy, boys. Go, go, go.
Are they going to be second?
Not too
Second
bad.
place, one
Well,
and
they look
two.
happy with that.
It's a great
Not
run.
too bad.
It's a great run, and it took something really special, I think, from the French boys to beat it. Yeah, really good final there.
So if you beat the locals who are on form by 3 seconds, you're doing something right.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely.
Unfortunately for Florence and Hounslow, it just kicks them off the podium. But they have their big day to come.
Yeah, their focus is on Rio this year, and they'll be grateful for the start line and the experience of racing in the final prior to that. So yeah, I'm sure they won't get knocked too much by that. And fourth is still a very respectable result. It's such a high-level World Cup.
So 2 finals under 100 seconds.
Yeah, wow. Both amazing runs as well, my Helen and the French boys there.
Yeah, some really special paddling here. Trust an Olympic venue to pull it out of people.
So if you want to keep up with what's going on, I suppose the key is to go to @PlanetCanoe. Then you can follow a lot of the athletes, what they're doing. Otherwise, we've been live on Facebook today. You can check out Planet Canoe on YouTube and watch to learn how the top boats perform under pressure on an Olympic course. After this, we are going to have a week in a few days. Well, most of the athletes are going across this afternoon or tomorrow to Pau, which is a few hours drive across the Pyrenees. Absolutely stunning. And then we're going to have the 3rd World Cup. After that, it's the Olympics, 7th to 11th of August. And then towards the end of the season, I believe it's 2nd week of September, Prague, which is in the Czech Republic. And then Slovenia in Tasen takes the final World Cup final. So it's going to be a busy, active, exciting year to watch out. You guys looking forward to it? Well, Casey, I guess it's going to be potentially your year.
Well, we'll see. You know, we never know what racing holds for us.
I'm talking about experience, really.
Experience. Yeah, I'm really excited to have the opportunity. You know, I'm happy to be a part of such a small family of 3-time Olympians, and these World Cups are always a really great way to reach our peak for the games. So I'm just looking forward to more racing and more start gates and time to watch all of these amazing paddlers and take out any last bit of information I can to help me on my way.
And Adam, a couple of years ago you were a very promising C2 paddler. Now you're the under-23 world champion in C1. It's looking good.
Yeah, I'm just focusing on my C1 now. I do miss paddling C2, but I have to say the decision with it being out of the Olympic program for Tokyo was quite a big influence in me choosing just to focus on C1. And hopefully an exciting few years ahead. But we'll see. I'll keep working hard and hopefully get some results out.
Well, I'm sure you will. So here's the classification after the final. And we see Dia and Leroux taking the gold medal in spectacular form by 2.54 seconds over Mazo and Perez from Spain and Germany. Schroeder and Betke coming up a little bit short, with Florence and Hilo regretting the 2-second penalty which would have put them into second, but that's history now. The Scantars also looking good for the next few months. I wonder if we're going to see the classification of the World Cup standings. As a few teams didn't go last week and next week, it may be slightly
I think today's winners, with a good result last week, 11th in Ivrea, they must be pretty high up the order, and you see they're in third at the moment.
So they're the present World Cup standings.
Schroeder Becker lead, and a great season so far for them, coming together with that medal at the Europeans as well.
It's good to see we have China and Brazil also in the stage there.
Yeah, definitely good to see it not being dominated by just European nations for once.
Quickly then, we've got 1 more minute until we're off air. Casey, what are you going to be doing for the next 2 months?
For the next 2 months, tomorrow we head to Po for the third World Cup. Got a couple weeks of training there, and then back home for a couple weeks before heading back to Rio towards the end of July and preparing final preparations for the Olympics. So,
well, that's the case of Casey. Also, a lot of athletes are going to be going to Rio. A lot of missing out there because there's only one per nation allowed to go in the singles category. We've had a lot of fun today. Casey Eichfield, Adam Burgess, Matthew Layton. We had a lot of fun with you today, and thank you so much for listening, for watching. Keep up on the social media, and we'll all be back soon.